Welcome to this new tutorial on creating your magazine covers on InDesign. So obviously in previous tutorials we've looked at how to create gradient backgrounds or solid color backgrounds and separating the backgrounds from your main images for your magazine covers. We've also looked at how you can just do some basic grading and tweaking to those images to make them more suitable for a cover. So in this tutorial we're actually going to look at the more technical process of actually constructing the magazine. So as you can see on screen, I've already set up my canvas following the other tutorial in regards to setting up your magazine canvas. So the first thing I would want to do is make sure that I have imported my fonts that I want to use. So I've gone on to Adobe font. I've looked around at different fonts that I might find suitable, sans serif styles. I've gone for a serif style called Mixter for this magazine. I can then add that to my Creative Cloud library, which then means it will appear in InDesign. Then as also part of my preparation, I've gone on Adobe Color. I've established a certain colour palette I want for this magazine cover. I'm creating a best of British cover today, so I've got my reds, whites and blues. And then again, I can save that colour swatch and then open it up within InDesign, meaning I can continue to use my colours as planned. So having done all of those key processes first, I'm now ready to make my magazine. So the first thing I want to do is get my background on. So what I need to do is make sure that I go down to the rectangle frame tool, shortcut F, and I want to draw. I'm going to do this from the actual bleed section, which is the little red bit. Draw it there. And this basically means I'm creating a rectangle, an object where I'm going to place something within my frame. So I can then now go to File and Place, which is a Command D. This, I will then find the appropriate files that I want to do. So I've got my background, so I'm going to open that. Now it's not the correct size at the moment, so before I click anything else, I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to click Fitting Fill Frame Proportionally. And then that's first task done. Now I want to make sure I draw a second rectangle, again, from the same space. You can see you've selected your corners when you get the green arrows blocking you in. And again, Command D, and I'm going to place my cover model. Open. Again, right click, Fitting, Fill Frame Proportionately. Now sometimes the image might be too large for the canvas, other times it might be too small. That's depending on the size of the file, the quality of the image that you're working with. So if you're using one of the DSLRs in college, the likelihood is that the image will actually be bigger than the A4 canvas you've created. You would need to fit frame proportionally, and it would actually shrink it to the right size. You don't want to have to enlarge it too much, because then that would focus and zoom in too much to the pixels and it would become a pixelated image. So it's better for it to be actually too big and you basically shrink it down to the right proportion. So here we have it. I'm happy with the placement of my image. That's how I want it to be composed. I want the main person to be slightly on the right hand side of the frame, so I've got more room to put some cover lines on the left hand side. So I'm happy with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I can see my layers though. So I'm going to click on Window and I'm going to click Layers. Shortcut is F7. So if I open up my layer 1, I've now got 2 different layers on there. Because I don't want to accidentally move these or edit them, I'm actually going to lock them. I can't do anything to these now, which means I can't accidentally move them or anything. They are locked. So now I basically need to start constructing the magazine. So first things first, masthead. So I'm going to go onto text and then simply draw a rectangle, very similar to the rectangle tool, where I want my text to fit. Here's your text frame. So if I now go on properties, I should be able to select my font hasn't appeared in here, you can select Show Activated Fonts, and Mixter is here now. So I'm going to go for the heavy. I'm going to choose Mixter to down heavy, and I'm just going to type the name of my magazine, which I'm just going to call for the sake of this mode. As you can see, it's now really small into the right corner, so I need to highlight this and I need to basically make it a larger size. So I can just increase its font size. I'm going to go to about 200. See where we're at then. Now I've lost it, as you can see. 200 is too big, so if I change that to maybe 150, if that's looking better, I can still make this a lot larger until I feel it's not too dominating. Now obviously for the time being I will have to change the colour etc in a minute, but I still want to change a few things about that. I'm going to open up this here in my characters, and I'm going to actually make the font a little bit taller. I'm also going to spread it out a little bit. Go back one. So now I've got my title mode. I'm going to position it ever so slightly. I'm going to move it. Again now, we can't see that very well. So what I do, I'm actually going to use my colour swatch now. So if I go into my CC libraries, I can see my best of British swatches here. So what I do need to do is I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to go back onto properties, and I'm going to select my text again. And where it says fill, I'm going to select that. And I'm just going to select my particular colour that I want. I'm going to go for my red one. Okay, now I'm happy with that. I'm instantly starting to get this best of British vibe. Now, if I move this layer in between the two, I can see the title is now moved. You can't necessarily see that grey there, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to select my magazine Fashion Mail, and I'm going to just select it, and I'm just going to move him a little bit more. So I need to unlock it first. That's better. Okay. So now we're starting to see this take shape. I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to add another text box. This is my main cover line now, and I'm going to type Bond is back. Again, highlight. I want to change the font to a mixed font to make sure I'm using the same font throughout to maintain brand recognition. I'm going to make my text larger. Let's keep going. Again. If I need to, I can always go back and change the text box size. Now I'm thinking I need my red as well again to stand out and contrast against the white and navy blue of the suits. So now we've got Bond is back. Okay. I'm now also going to do another cover line underneath. So I'm going to draw another box, but I want it in line this time. So I'm going to draw it here. Again, same font. Go ultra light this time. James Todorov, the new 007. Again, to highlight all of that text, change it to white this time. Okay. Increase the font size a little bit more. I've lost that a bit too much now because of the white. I'm just going to reduce. There we go, that's fine. Obviously it doesn't look great there, but we can always zoom in. Let's see this taking shape. So as we start to do all these processes, we can start to see our magazine cover becoming reality. Now I might keep adding more cover lines, one that says Best of British. So bold one this time. Best of British. Do that in my white. Increase. Increase. Make the font more italicized. Then underneath, I'm going to add some famous stars. So Idris Elba, Tom Hiddleston, who else? Adele. Yep, I'm struggling a bit there. Sorry, guys. What I'm then going to do is I'm actually just going to change the font slightly of these ones so they're not bold. I'm going to do them as ultra light. I'm not going to have them italicized, and I'm going to make them ever slightly smaller. And then I'm just going to move this box ever so slightly. But notice when I do move it, it's suggesting snapping in certain places, so we have alignment, which is always a good thing to have on these programs. So I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. Okay. So obviously I can keep going. I probably should add something in relation to which issue this is. So summer 2024. Again, I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to do this in a white font. I'm going to just try and make that in line with the that's far too big, so I'm going to move that down to there. Done. Okay. So now I've got this. Now I think the last thing I want to do with this is add a barcode. So I'm going to go back to rectangle, and at the bottom of a frame on the bottom right corner I'm going to draw another rectangle. I'm going to click place, and I've got a barcode loaded up. I'm going to click open, and I'm quite happy with that as well, although probably needs moving ever so slightly to be in line with the edge of the page. And that's that. So now if I zoom out, this is now a magazine. So if I go to view and I click over print preview, this is how the magazine will actually look. I'm happy with that. You can go as far as adding other things. such as shapes on here. So if I wanted to add a price around here, for example, I can add a shape, which is next to the rectangle tool. I can draw a little rectangle in there. I can then change the colour of that, so it's a solid white, and then I could add a text box near there, and I might write $4.99. Move this box within here. Obviously, I'm going to have to rotate it and then move it so it appears in that box. So I'm happy with this. To say it's taken 10-15 minutes. So what I'm now going to do once I've finished, I'm going to go click File. I'm going to click Export. And I want to save this as a PDF. So magazine finished. Format Adobe PDF print. Click Save. It is going to give you some more export options. It's okay. They should be fine as they are. Click Export again. So now I've clicked Export, I'm going to just hide InDesign a second and look at the saved. Just going to open on Preview. And we can see that this is the magazine cover that I've just quickly created for you. Hopefully that's helpful. There's a step-by-step guide on how to make a magazine cover on InDesign. Thank you for watching.